Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. So last week I was watching Bob's Burgers, right? And this character came on that had a suspiciously deep voice. And I said, are you one of me? Is this show literally about me?
Wait, is this fucking play about us?
I started Googling, I said, is this character trans? Is this girl a trans girl? The answer was no, she was not trans. But Bob's Burger does have a whole entire episode with trans people in it, a recurring trans character that I never knew about before. So I found it, and today's video, we're gonna be watching it. We're gonna be reacting to it. If you don't know, I am a trans woman who studied media, and specifically the way that media can either create or destroy prejudice. So for today, I wanna talk about how this show can impact real life trans people and how it could potentially impact real life people's perceptions and treatment of trans people. So I do wanna mention a few things before we start. First of all, this episode did come out in 2011. So a very, very long time ago, right? We really have to consider what was going on in the world regarding trans people in 2011. If you don't know, there wasn't much, right? There was not much going on. Not many shows or movies were really showing trans people. Not many people were even talking about trans people. The media wasn't talking about trans people. This was before Caitlyn Jenner. So it was really quiet for the trans people, right? The only depictions that we really had of the trans community were on Jerry Springer, where they laughed at trans women for being trans, where they attacked trans women for being trans. We saw movies like Ace Ventura, where like the main ending punchline was that the love desire was trans and they all threw up. Those are the types of trans representation that I grew up used to. And that's the type of trans representation that I think the world was kind of used to in 2011 when this show came out. So we got to keep that in mind, right? The world was very different than it is now. The episode is called Sheesh Cab Bob, like shish kebab, but sheesh cab bob. Okay, anyways. And basically the context of the scene that we're about to start with is, it is Tina's birthday is coming up, their oldest daughter's birthday is coming up, and they want to throw her this great birthday party, a magical 13th birthday party that she'll remember forever. And so to do that, Bob, the dad, takes up an extra part-time job as a cab driver to help pay for the party. And the scene that we're about to watch is from his first night on the shift.
Where to, ladies?
Fourthing Ocean, Dal.
Thanks for stopping. Most cabbies are too brutish to pick us up.
Huh. And that's because you are...
Fabulous! It's true.
Well, you're clearly fabulous, yeah.
Yes. Don't fall in love, Mr. Cab Driver. You can't afford us.
Hey, who's picking up who here? Don't worry, ladies. I'm kidding. I'm a married man.
So am I.
She's the married man, everyone. She's a married man. Do you hear that one? All right. Now, when it comes to discussing media, right? When it comes to discussing representation in media, there's a few different criteria that I personally like to go off of. So the first criteria that I really like to consider is the portrayal of them, right? So are they using inclusive language? Are they using the right terms? Is there a lot of stereotyping, right? That's the first critique. And clearly they did not do great, right? There is a comedic focus on their masculine features, right? They zoom in on the Adam's apple and on body hair. The fact that they are gender nonconforming or trans or whatever you want to say is literally the punchline of this intro to this scene. There's also the stereotype of them being sex workers. And honestly, I don't even care. You know what I mean? I don't even care if they're sex workers because there is a lot of trans people that do have to do sex work. I just would have loved if they maybe threw in a joke about why they were doing sex work, you know what I mean? They do throw in things like that. They say like, oh, most cabbies are too prudish to pick us up, talking about the discrimination that they face, right? So they definitely could have made jokes like that. And it just really would have let the viewer know like why trans people get into sex work a lot of the time, like that it's literally about survival. So it would have been cool for them to maybe mention that, you know what I mean? So criteria number one for this first scene, they failed, right? This was not a good portrayal of, if these are supposed to be trans people, which we don't know if they are yet, that's not good. However, the second criteria, which arguably is the more important criteria, is modeling. What does this episode, what does this scene model to viewers who may not have any prior interaction with trans people, right? And for that criteria, honestly, I think it did kind of good. We see this moment of realization for Bob when he figures out that they're trans, when he clocks them. If you don't know, clocking is like when you figure out someone's trans. We see this moment with Bob and he reacts positively, right? He affirms them. He says, oh, hey ladies, like blah, 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 like jokes with them, flirts with them a little bit, like jokingly, but just is very good to them. This is great, especially when we consider, like I said in the beginning, the other shows that were going around right now with the horrible, horrible modeling in them, like throwing up at the fact that somebody's trans, beating somebody up at the fact that they're trans. This comparatively is amazing, right? Bob notices that the people in his car are trans and just drives them to their destination, chats with them, has a grand old time, and everything's fine. Everything's dandy. The scene did a good job at modeling a healthy first interaction with trans people. It did good. Good job. Period. I approve. Let's go on to the next scene though. Today's video is sponsored by Drift. Drift is a subscription service that offers sustainable air care products for your car, your house, and they're actually Scentbird's sister company, so their service works in a very similar, familiar way. First, you order a starter kit that comes with a clip that holds your scent and the scent on a freshener that is either wood, stone, or metal. And then after 30 days or whenever the scent is gone, you simply order a refill for the scent of either the same fragrance, a different fragrance, or you can sign up for their fragrance of the month and receive a limited edition scent that is inspired by the season. I'm talking pine trees and candy canes, and I'm talking pumpkin spice, all of your seasonal favorites. The scent that I received literally smells like they melted down gummy bears or something. It smells so good, and I've been craving gummy bears literally ever since getting it. Drift is actually offering an amazing deal. They're giving you guys 55% off if you use the code SLUX, meaning you get the starter kit and the wood freshener and the scent for like $5. So I don't want any of my followers having stinky cars. Please and thank you. And you're welcome. Thank you, Jeff, so much for sponsoring today's video. And now let's get back into it.
Guess who learned a lot about transvestites last night?
I was only on that website for like 2 seconds.
What? No, I was talking about me. I picked up a group of transvestite hookers who showed me a side of this town I never knew existed. And Gene, you're banned from the computer for 2 days.
After what I saw, I'm fine with that.
What's a transvestite hooker?
Bob, I'm not sure this is appropriate breakfast conversation.
I guess you're right. Maybe I should just try and...
Nice.
Oh, a bow.
Let's put that on Dad's head. There's your transvestite.
Get the camera.
Okay, so we've got our answer. They are transvestites. Whatever that means. It's very clear to me now that this show came out in 2011 because this is such an outdated term, transvestite. I don't even know what that word means anymore. There's so many different definitions that are given to it, so many different meanings. The only commonality that I've really found between all the meanings is that there's a lot of sexual connotations tied to this word, and therefore it's not commonly used anymore. More sexual connotations than like a transsexual even. So needless to say, this term is very outdated and should not be being used to describe trans women. So number one, the proper terminology, no, that's not supposed to be that. I had a little hope too, because in the first scene, you weren't even really sure if they were trans or drag queens or whatever, but now it's kind of clear to me that they are trying to represent trans people. They just don't know how. As for the second criteria, this scene did a lot worse than the first one with that social modeling. We see this kind of mini punchline about Gene being on a trans porn site, right? Laughing at his potential attraction to trans women. Cute, right? Cute. Which is even further clarified with what he says about being banned from the computer. Like, oh, well, that's fine with me. Like, I would never want to see that stuff again. Implying that, you know, trans people are gross and stuff like that, which, y'all, we see your porn history. We know that trans porn is one of the most highly viewed porn segments in America, but we don't have to talk about that. Scenes like this are kind of, to me, reminiscent of that Ace Ventura scene where they all throw up at the trans woman, at their attraction to this trans woman. This type of content is literally getting trans women beaten and killed, literally. Implanting shame and disgust in young men's minds about their attraction to trans women will lead to trans women getting hurt, because men are inevitably going to be attracted to trans women because we're fucking hot, duh. I'm sorry. Not all trans women, you know what I mean? Like, inevitably probably going to find a trans woman hot. But if they have all this shame and disgust fed to them their entire life, what are they supposed to feel when they realize that they're attracted to us? What are they supposed to feel when they realize that the girl that they were flirting with all last night is actually trans? What are they supposed to feel? We also see modeling from both the father to the son, shaming him for his potential attraction to trans people. And we also see it from the mother when she says, I don't think this is appropriate conversation. There's nothing inappropriate about trans people, right? Of course, we are talking about sex workers, so that's a different conversation. That may be a little bit inappropriate for children, but there's nothing inherently inappropriate about being trans. Nope. So I resent that, Linda. Those two examples were enough, but even at the end of the scene, like, again, mocking trans women by putting this banana bow on Bob's head and saying, oh, there's your transvestite, get the camera, let's make fun of him, he's gonna hate this, blah, blah, blah. I don't know, whatever.
Do what I do to get by, pulling down the pants of the night. It's not right to make fun of the night.
Oh my God, not Bob being a major ally. I think Bob is the ally of the family. He needs to teach Linda. So there weren't many things to talk about in terms of stereotypes for this short little scene, but in terms of modeling, He said ally.
I'm rolling with the LGBT.
He said, I'm gonna help you get your bills paid, my friend. He even teaches this other guy that it's okay to be with trans women. You're fine if you want some good... I don't know. I like that scene. That's a cute one. Okay, so the next scene is a little while later, and Bob is venting to the woman in the cab about how his arch nemesis is like trying to get him to shave his mustache, or he's not gonna let his son go to Bob's daughter's birthday. I don't know. It's some weird drama, but basically, I don't know. It's some weird drama. Let's just watch.
Oh, I miss having a mustache.
Miss it? Honey, newsflash.
I can see it from here.
You can see it from space?
Stop it, Cha-Cha. I will thumb your eyeballs out of your skull.
Your shift's almost over, right, Bobby?
Yeah, it is.
Why don't you join us for a beer?
Yeah! We'll throw back a few beers and smoke some crack.
Crack?
Just the beer then.
Do I even need to say it anymore? Like, the stereotypes are just, it's just too much. Not the over-aggressive representation of the trans woman, like, I'll thumb your eyes out, right? We don't need that. We don't need that happening. The other thing that this scene did was prove to me that the writers really did not know much about trans people, right? No trans woman's gonna miss having a mustache. I promise you that. Maybe they got drag queens and trans women mixed up for this episode. However, that being said, the modeling again is on point. Bob is able to have these women in the back of his cabin vent to them about his personal life. He's able to go out and drink with them and have a good time without feeling judged or like, you know, he can't hang out with the transies. So it's cool. You know what I mean? I like it. A straight white guy going out with some trans woman just for a good time. What gets better than that? Okay, so in the next scene, it's finally Tina's birthday. Happy birthday to Tina. Happy birthday, happy birthday. She's got a cute dress on, slay. But Bob's new friends arrive. Let's watch.
It's a party, all right.
Party.
Did someone say party?
They don't go to my school.
I'm sorry, ladies, we're closed for a private party.
We were invited by Bob.
Bob, you invited transvestite prostitutes to our daughter's birthday party?
No, maybe. This week has been kind of a blur. All of you are coming to my daughter's party. We're gonna have so much fun. Bring whoever you want. I might have thrown it out there. Is this the Sweet 13 party?
Where do I put my code?
Oh, hey, Marshmallow.
So, Marshmallow, how'd you get your name?
Because if you show me a sweet potato pie, I am on top of it.
I knew it!
I love Marshmallow. I am on top of it. I'm gonna talk about her in a second, so hold on. Okay, so maybe you guys disagree with the whole stereotype thing, but I personally think the stereotypes are doing more harm than good. We have the stereotypical trans woman voice, you know what I mean? Like, what? Ooh, watch your mouth, girl. We also have like the overly provocative, overly sexy clothes at a literal 13-year-old's birthday party. Another stereotype against trans women, which I am guilty of. I'm so sorry. I'm just kidding. But how dare you? I'm definitely not about the stereotypes, but what happens next is like kind of cute. I kind of love it.
Come on, girl. It's your party. You might as well enjoy it.
It's like I always say, when life gives you lemons, tuck 'em.
I think what my girlfriend here is trying to say is, when it's time for you to blossom into a woman, you can't let anything stop you. Not a party, not a boy, and not a town full of doctors who refuse to remove your penis.
And you have a very good father, baby. Never forget that.
Not many fathers would make the sacrifices your father made to throw you this party. Working 2 jobs.
The things he saw.
The things he smelled.
He deserves an award.
Oh, not the little pep talk, not the little trans pep talk for Tina. I love it. It's so cute, especially with the whole groomer narrative going around right now and the whole narrative about trans people being not safe to be around kids. I love this scene. Of course, there are silly little jokes like the lemon joke and the penis joke and stuff like that. But I think it is really, really special because so many trans people struggled so much in their childhoods that we have a very, very special place for young people in our hearts. And we are very, very protective of. Of course, you should supervise any adult with your child, but just because we're trans doesn't mean that we're not safe to be around kids. If anything, we might have some really, really valuable lessons to help bestow onto your kids if you would allow us to. So yeah, this scene I thought was great. Bob and Linda felt comfortable and safe enough to allow these women to talk to Tina, to give her a little pep talk, and they gave her a good one. You know what I mean? They said, you have a great father, you have great parents. Take that, conservatives who say that we're trying to separate children from their parents. They said that Tina had a great dad.
I just kissed my first boy. Me too.
Oh, boo-hoo.
Oh!
Hurry up and grow that thing back.
I know, it's bad.
Now!
Is that a little trans cake I see? I saw pink and blue on that cake.
Concentrate, push it out.
I'm trying, Lynn.
Let me cover it with my finger.
Not fucking, what's his name, Mort? Not Mort saying, I kissed a boy. That needed to go. Bob's Burgers, that one I'm not okay with.
Girl, stop playing with us right now.
Okay, so I will say the rest of the episode is really, really cute. The last scene is really, really cute. I didn't like that last part where Mort was like, oh, I just kissed my first boy too, because it goes along with that second scene, right? Where they're shaming Gene for his attraction to trans women. This is a very big problem for the trans community right now, especially for trans women right now, is the shame that men feel about being with us. The shame that is implanted in their brains through shows and movies like this and like Ace Ventura that end up hurting trans women, right? And as much as I want to just like get all the men that commit these crimes and lock them up and throw them in jail, which we should do, obviously, I have to say that this is clearly more than an individual problem, right? This has been widely normalized and ingrained into our society, this hatred and disgust of trans people. Movies and TV shows for so long have taught people to think that we're gross, that we're disgusting, that it's shameful to be like us or to be with us. And so all I can say is, what are men supposed to feel when they find themselves attracted to a trans woman? What do you expect them to feel when you've told them their whole lives that it's shameful and disgusting to be attracted to trans people? What do you expect? So I think that when we're creating conversations nowadays in shows and movies and stuff like that, that is something that we really, really need to be careful of, is to not shame people who are attracted to us. Clearly, obviously. I know it seems like an innocent little joke in the show and, you know, everybody was laughing and it's fine, but this impacts real life people, right? And people do learn from media, whether they like it or not. They do learn from Bob's Burgers and shows like Bob's Burgers. And so it's important that we get it right. And honestly, I think that Bob's Burgers did a really great job. You know what I mean? This was 2011. You can't expect them to have all the updated terminology, all the updated stuff, because it's not an updated episode. You know what I mean? It came out 13 years ago, before Caitlyn Jenner even came out. And I think for its time, it did a great, great job. It modeled, for the most part, really, really healthy interactions between Bob, the in-group, and this out-group, which is trans people, trans sex workers even. In the beginning, they didn't know each other at all. They were just some transvestite hookers. And in the end, they were at Bob's daughter's birthday party, celebrating and hanging out and giving Tina pep talks. Marshmallow is in some later episodes throughout the series. Even in season 3, they were modeling great interactions with Marshmallow. Like, I think she was used to show that Linda had psychic powers, because Linda claimed that somebody tall, dark, and handsome would walk through the door and then Marshmallow walked through. And Bob corrected Linda by saying, Marshmallow isn't handsome, she's beautiful. Literally showing the audience how to be a great ally. Like, that you correct the people that get it wrong and then you just move on and compliment them if you want. I think that the show overall did a great job, and I have so much hope for their updated episodes with Marshmallow, because they have actually recasted her. Well, they recasted the voice actor who plays her from a white man to a black woman. That's amazing, right? That is the creators and writers of Bob's Burgers being very explicit about their support for trans people and how they want to do it right. That's amazing. That's amazing. Very, very great. Bob's Burgers. I knew I liked you. I knew I liked you for a reason. But yeah, you guys, that is pretty much it. What did you think? I love to hear your opinions on shows like this, so definitely leave them down below. If you guys like this video, I post videos like this every single week, so make sure to go watch another one. Thank you, Jeff, so much for sponsoring today's video. And yeah, I'll see you in the next video. Bye, everyone.